Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
Worthless material that is to be disposed of. Nonsensical talk or writing. An amphetamine derivative, trade name mephedrine, used in the form of a crystalline hydrochloride, used as a stimulant to the nervous system and as an appetite suppressant. Worthless people. Dispose of, something useless or old. Trash these old chairs. Express a totally negative opinion of. Worthless material that is to be disposed of. Nonsensical talk or writing. Attack strongly. Worthless material that is to be disposed of. Dispose of, something useless or old. Scrap your old computer. A small fragment of something broken off from the whole. The act of fighting, any contest or struggle. The unhappy couple got into a terrible scrap. Have a disagreement over something. These two fellows are always scrapping over something. A small piece of something that is left over after the rest has been used. She jotted it on a scrap of paper. Make into scrap or refuse. Scrap the old airplane and sell the parts. Nonsensical talk or writing. Puree of stewed apples usually sweetened and spiced. Nonsensical talk or writing. Nonsensical talk or writing. Nonsensical talk or writing. Lining of the stomach of a ruminant, especially a bovine, used as food. Nonsensical talk or writing. Ornamental objects of no great value. Nonsensical talk or writing. Any thin watery drink. An amphetamine derivative, trade name mephedrine, used in the form of a crystalline hydrochloride, used as a stimulant to the nervous system and as an appetite suppressant. A piece of calcite or a similar substance, usually in the shape of a crayon, that is used to write or draw on blackboards or other flat surfaces. A pure flat white with little reflectance. A soft whitish calcite. Write, draw, or trace with chalk. An amphetamine derivative, trade name mephedrine, used in the form of a crystalline hydrochloride, used as a stimulant to the nervous system and as an appetite suppressant. Dry mash for poultry. Start by cranking. Crank up the engine. Rotate with a crank. A whimsically eccentric person. An amphetamine derivative, trade name mephedrine, used in the form of a crystalline hydrochloride, used as a stimulant to the nervous system and as an appetite suppressant. A hand tool consisting of a rotating shaft with parallel handle. Used a boats, inclined to heel over easily under sail. Travel along a zigzag path. A bad-tempered person. Bend into the shape of a crank. Fasten with a crank. An amphetamine derivative, trade name mephedrine, used in the form of a crystalline hydrochloride, used as a stimulant to the nervous system and as an appetite suppressant. A mirror, usually a lady's dressing mirror. A small refracting telescope. An amphetamine derivative, trade name mephedrine, used in the form of a crystalline hydrochloride, used as a stimulant to the nervous system and as an appetite suppressant. Enclose with glass. Glass in a porch. A container made of glass for holding liquids while drinking. Become glassy or take on a glass-like appearance. Furnish with glass. Glass the windows. The quantity a glass will hold. A brittle transparent solid with irregular atomic structure. Glassware collectively. She collected old glass. Put in a glass container. Scan. Game in the forest, with binoculars. Diamonds. Look at the ice on that dame. A heat engine in which combustion occurs inside the engine rather than in a separate furnace. Heat expands a gas that either moves a piston or turns a gas turbine. A rink with a floor of ice for ice hockey or ice skating. The crowd applauded when she skated out onto the ice. A frozen dessert with fruit flavoring, especially one containing no milk. Water frozen in the solid state. Americans like ice in their drinks. Decorate with frosting. An amphetamine derivative, trade name methadone, used in the form of a crystalline hydrochloride, used as a stimulant to the nervous system and as an appetite suppressant. A flavored sugar topping used to coat and decorate cakes. Cause to become ice or icy. An iced summer drink. Put ice on or put on ice. The frozen part of a body of water. An amphetamine derivative, trade name methadone, used in the form of a crystalline hydrochloride, used as a stimulant to the nervous system and as an appetite suppressant. An amphetamine derivative, trade name methadone, used in the form of a crystalline hydrochloride, used as a stimulant to the nervous system and as an appetite suppressant. An amphetamine derivative, trade name methadone, used in the form of a crystalline hydrochloride, used as a stimulant to the nervous system and as an appetite suppressant. An amphetamine derivative, trade name methadone, used in the form of a crystalline hydrochloride, used as a stimulant to the nervous system and as an appetite suppressant. An amphetamine derivative, trade name methadone, used in the form of a crystalline hydrochloride, used as a stimulant to the nervous system and as an appetite suppressant. Worthless people. A film of impurities or vegetation that can form on the surface of a liquid. Remove the scum from. The remains of something that has been destroyed or broken up. Dispose of something useless or old. Junk an old car. Any of various Chinese boats with a high poop and luxels. Cooking utensil consisting of a wide metal vessel. Greek mythology, god of fields and woods and shepherds and flocks, represented as a man with goat's legs and horns and ears, identified with Roman Silvanus or Faunus. Express a totally negative opinion of. The critics panned the performance. Wash dirt in a pan to separate out the precious minerals. Chimpanzees, more closely related to Australopithecus than to other pongids. Make a sweeping movement. The camera panned across the room. Shallow container made of metal. Express a totally negative opinion of. Any materials unused and rejected as worthless or unwanted. Cause to grow thin or weak. Run off as waste. The water wastes back into the ocean. Spend thoughtlessly. Throw away. He wasted his inheritance on his insincere friends. Become physically weaker. Get rid of someone who may be a threat by killing. Cause extensive destruction or ruin utterly. The enemy lay waste to the countryside after the invasion. Lose vigor, health, or flesh, as through grief. Located in a dismal or remote area, desolate. Waste places. An uninhabited wilderness that is worthless for cultivation. The trackless wastes of the desert. Useless or profitless activity. Using or expending or consuming thoughtlessly or carelessly. If the effort brings no compensating gain, it is a waste. Spend extravagantly. Waste not, want not. Law. Reduction in the value of an estate caused by act or neglect. The trait of wasting resources. A life characterized by thriftlessness and waste. Any materials unused and rejected as worthless or unwanted. They collect the waste once a week. Get rid of. We waste the dirty water by channeling it into the sewer. Use inefficiently or inappropriately. Waste heat. Any materials unused and rejected as worthless or unwanted. Much of the waste material is carried off in the sewers. Any materials unused and rejected as worthless or unwanted. A worthless message. Food that is discarded, as from a kitchen. A receptacle where waste can be discarded. She tossed the moldy bread into the garbage. Saliva spilling from the mouth. A worthless message. Let saliva drivel from the mouth. A central nervous system stimulant that increases energy and decreases appetite. Used to treat narcolepsy and some forms of depression. The higher of two berths. Higher in place or position. The upper bunk. Piece of leather or synthetic material that forms the part of a shoe or boot above the sole that encases the foot. Superior in rank or accomplishment. The upper half of the class. The topmost one of two.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.